Hello and welcome to the Inner Gamer Next, where we play a video game and figure out if it should or shouldn't be next up on your video game playlist. Let's talk about some video games. You've been playing a game that just came out on Xbox Game Pass and all the systems.
Oh, yes.
What is this game?
Oh, yes. It is called The Outer Worlds, and the synopsis is, lost in transit while on a colorless ship bound for the furthest edge of the galaxy, you awake decades later, only to find yourself in the midst of a deep conspiracy threatening to destroy the Holocron colony. As you explore the furthest reaches of space and encounter various factions, all vying for power, the characters you decide to become will determine how this player-driven story unfolds. In the corporation for the colony, you are the unplanned variable. Conspiracy.
So, this game is developed by Obsidian Entertainment. Those of you that are familiar with them, or aren't familiar with them, they are the original creators of Fallout before Bethesda shat on it. And
they did Fallout New Vegas.
They did Pillars of Eternity, which is really cool. They've done good stuff.
We got to interview them for Pillars of Eternity 2 back at PAX.
Well, that was Versus Evil we interviewed.
That was Versus Evil.
Yes.
Sorry.
No, I take that back. Sorry.
Wait,
you're right. The girl that we talked to was a community manager for
Obsidian.
Yes. So you're all right.
I was like, wait, am I confused? Yeah.
Yep.
So go over to youtube.com/innergamer. You can check out that interview for Pillars of Eternity 2. And our podcast, which is something Brett will find out here in a second. Anyway, so I jumped into this. If you go get the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for the PC for $15 a month, you can get this game for $15.
You can also get it for $4.99 if you just pay for the PC version of the Game Pass.
It is everything you would expect from an Obsidian Fallout style game. It has the awesome worlds. It has a good story. It has great dialogue with great characters that you meet along the way. You have quests out the ass. And obviously, there's inventory management. You get armor, you get weapons, you get healing aids and buffs and all that good stuff.
Is there crafting in this game?
There is not crafting.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So I jumped into it, and I mean, you can go look at like what the first 15 minutes is, and it's pretty interesting. I mean, it's just a very, general intro mission to like learn how to do everything. So I get through that, and I'm going to go into spoilers for the first 5 hours because I think it's very important to kind of explain how the story pans out, and I think the general idea of what they're going for, because they explained early on, and like if you read some of the stuff from them explaining the game, it's there are choices here, but it's supposed to be ambiguous, and it's up to you to come to the conclusions of what's good and what's wrong. And I find that very appealing. That's actually something I don't think we get a lot anymore, because if you look at Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3, I believe, it's all very like black and white. You're either good, you're bad, or you're neutral, right? There is no in between. There is no ambiguity. And I don't know. It for the time as a kid, that's fine. Black and white is fine. But growing up, like, you want to think more. You want to really kind of be in the gray area, because it just makes for a more interesting story, I feel like.
Yeah.
So as you first get out, you take control of the ship, and you become the captain. And obviously, there's humor thrown in here, so it's really awesome.
What do they call the ship?
The Unreliable.
Yes. I thought that was funny.
Well, there's a plaque like right when you walk in that says The Reliable, but then they put this little note in there saying
mark it like in red.
Yeah. I was like, that's awesome. Anyway, there's this AI, and it's been trained to disappoint, or it's been programmed to disappoint. So you go in there, and it's like threatening you, like, we're going to, open the airlocks, and you're going to be thrown out into space, but you're already on the ground. And she's like, oh, well, you've discovered that I have failed once again, and I've been trained, or I've been programmed to be disappointing to people. And I was like, oh, okay. So you become captain of the ship, and then you have to go get a part for the ship so you can take off. And so you go into this town, and there's this mayor. He's not really called the mayor, but I'll use him because he's in charge of this outpost, which is part of this corporation, which all these people who work there work a lot, don't get paid a lot, but, they're making a living to some degree. So, like, they have it hard. And people, you come to find out that there's people who have left the settlement to go create their own settlement in order to get away from these, like, tyrannic corporation and bad living conditions. So the mayor's like, hey, go talk to these people, and you gotta go turn on the power because the power is being split between the two settlements, and we need all the power. So you go talk to this lady who started her own, settlement, and she's like, I really hate that mayor, and I really hate that town, and blah, blah, blah. So death to the town, give us the power. So you have this, already moral conundrum, like, who are you going to choose? And it's either the hippies or the corporate people.
So is this the introduction of the factions mechanic that they have in the game?
Yeah, I mean, it's an introduction to like factions of the world.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's like, because I was watching a review where that was showing like you have the different factions and you can kind of adjust. I think there's like a slider or something that helps you adjust like your stance about like with each one or something of that nature. And they show the different. You have like a factions menu that shows you like who they are and what they're about, which I would assume is inherited from New Vegas.
I haven't even looked at the faction. I didn't even know there was a factions menu.
Yeah,
I guess that's in the codex or something.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, I don't really go into codex too much.
Yeah.
Anyway, so now you're at a crossroads. Who are you going to pick? Who are you going to go with? And so originally, I was like, all right, I'm going to give the power to the hippie people. So if you take the power away, they're a raider or marauders out, and then like other creatures. So because they have the power, they're able to defend themselves and sustain themselves for probably years to come. If you turn it off, the refrigeration is going to go away, and they won't be able to feed themselves, and they won't be able to protect themselves. So they will only last a few weeks. That's what they said. So I was like, all right, well, I'll give it to them because screw the corporations. They're being evil. And before you leave the main settlement, you're given your first companion, which is, I can't say her name. It's like Pavika or something like that. So she comes around, tagging along. So we go to the main building to switch the generator power, and I was already switching it to the small settlement out in the wild. And she's like, right before I go up to the main terminal, she comes up to me. She's like, are you sure you really want to do this? She's like, I know that the town and the mayor is really bad and stuff, and we have bad living conditions, but the woman's rage and hate for the town is kind of blinding her. She didn't say it to that effect, but I mean, that's what she's trying to say, basically. And that there are good people in this town, and they don't deserve to be, destroyed and, sent out into the wild because they don't know what they're doing. There's good people there just trying to make a living. So she convinced me to give it to the mayor, and I was like, damn, that is good. Like, I already came to my conclusions, and I already had issues with the small settlement out in the wild, but I was like, I'm going to give it to them because, I don't know, it's just kind of the way I was leaning. But then she changed my mind right at the last second.
Wow.
So then I go talk to the lady, and she's really pissed off, and shit.
There's an old printing press I've been trying to get up and running.
She's really pissed off,
Many facilities lie abandoned.
and I'm like, well, look, I'll go talk to the mayor for you. Maybe I can convince him to step down. I was like, this isn't going to happen. So I go back to town. I talk to the mayor, and he's like, very reluctant to it. And there is an option early on in the dialogue tree where it's like, okay, I've done enough talking. I'm going to kill you. And there's like the mayor with 2 guards there. So I was like, well, the outcome is I'm going to have to kill the mayor. Well, I started talking to him more because the dialogue trees actually are very extensive, and I ended up talking him down, step down.
Oh, wow.
So he ends up going on early retirement and is going to leave the settlement and like just get off the planet because come to find out, the lady has found a way to actually grow crops in this area, which you cannot grow crops. And I won't go into all that, but there's some like interesting details, interesting things about how that come to be. But I was like, holy shit, I did it. Like, this is an option. This is a thing that if you just talk to these people, it's very possible for you to, work around doing violent conflict. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, if this is how it is for the whole game, awesome. Like, I'm already sold.
Does it feel very D&D in that respect?
Yes, very. Yeah. It's like, well, because there's sometimes, I can be like really short with the people because they write out all the dialogue that you're saying to them. And it really does change the conversation up. So like you can be, kind of rude or you can be very nice and they actually react to what you're saying. They're like, oh, well, that was very nice of you. Or they're just kind of like, they get that you're being a little rude. So they might have some kind of snarky remark back to you or whatever. And then you can be neutral or whatever. And Dude, the dialogue, I was literally talking to someone for 10 to 15 minutes.
Wow.
Just going through like knowledge of like certain things, asking all these questions, and the acting is amazing. Like it's spot on the whole time. And
Does your character respond back with voice, or is it just
No,
like
it's
you
just-
just click a text line and then they respond to that?
just text line. They said they did that because they want you to feel like you are that character.
Yeah.
They don't want to have someone.
Have you ever found yourself role playing, like speaking the language,
No.
the words before you do it?
I don't do that.
Just be like looking through the line and be like, hello, I am this person and I want you to do this for me. And then they respond. You're like, no, you shouldn't do that.
I don't do that.
Dang.
I'm sure someone does that. I'm sure
Yeah.
they do it on stream too. So, yeah, like I'm just blown away by how good talking to people is. Like I want to talk to everybody, and it seems like basically everyone you talk to has a side quest for you. So it's like, hey, blah blah blah. Like one guy's like, I need to. There's graveyard fees at the first settlement, so you have to go talk to people and collect their basically their tax for someone who's died close to them. And the guy was like, well, I actually have the plague, so do you mind helping me out? And, you go off to, the surrounding areas and find something for him and bring it back. And it's like, well, they're basically fetch quests for everybody. But it's interesting because if you didn't have the fetch quest, you wouldn't have explored you probably naturally would have explored the area, but it like gives you a reason to go out to some of these other areas. And then the first area wasn't too big, and it was actually really easy getting around the area, like killing beasts. And there was marauders, and they're pretty easy. Because as soon as I found this machine gun, I was just mowing people down. I was like, well, this is the gameplay. This kind of sucks. But once I got to the second planet, holy shit, it got hard.
Really?
It got really hard. Yeah, there's like insect creatures and like bull/wolf type creatures that are lizards. And man, the weapons I have, it takes a long time. Like because now I have 2 followers, and they go down real quick, and it's just me.
Oh, like they're
there.
like they come with you and fight with you.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, just like something on Mass Effect or something.
Yeah.
So
And
they talk too, like walking down. Like there's a lot of games where like the two of the companions will talk to each other. And they have that here too.
well, that's cool.
I know, and I was like, yes, I missed that.
Yeah. How's the gunplay? Like, is it overall, like, does it feel pretty? I mean, Fallout's never been one to like do well with gunplay, but I'm curious if they made any improvements in that regard. Because I heard they don't have the like a VAT system or anything. They have like a slow motion like mechanic or whatever.
Right.
But there's not like an actual like VAT. So what does that look like?
So since I'm playing on PC, you hit Q to slow down. It just slows down time, allows you to aim your gun. It's a little slower, but you can do it pretty quick, and it actually adds damage to your hit. So it's almost like a critical hit every time. So yeah, it's cool. You can upgrade it to make it last longer. I think depending on what kind of gun you have, depends on how much you can actually use that slowdown system to fire critical hits. Because there's some guns where I can only hit them once and it'll go away. But there's other guns like a pistol, I can hit them a few times.
Yeah.
And do extended damage to them. Other than that, I think the gameplay is kind of like Borderlands in a way. I mean, it's not that complicated. And it's not, I would say it's like revolutionary or game-changing. It's just standard aim and fire.
It's not like a looter shooter though, right? It's more RPG heavy kind of mechanic stuff. Where
I found a piece of armor early on. I haven't changed out of it since. It's been pretty good.
That's
The
cool.
armors look kind of nice. I kind of wish they don't have skins, but I wish they had skins to change up the color. But you can find different pieces of armor that look very similar from different, I guess, factions.
Yeah.
And they just have different colors on them.
Okay.
So there's that. If you want to do that,
Yeah.
I mean, it's not really an armor game, but
Well, it's interesting how because I remember them always when I listened to an interview with the creators of this game, they said that this is very much for them a low budget game. So there's a lot of these things that you probably have come to be comfortable with in other games that I like that it is. I mean, you get the game and they put a lot of time in it, and I was impressed the fact that they did make it. I've heard the average time to beat it is like 30 hours. So I mean that's a pretty extensive game because I was hearing originally it was gonna be like 15 or 20. So they must have like expanded the story more.
that's awesome.
So that's pretty cool. How do the story quests get presented to you? Are they pretty like is it like you have a quest mission, and you go and do that quest, and when it's done, like the next one pops up. You can kind of do it like in Borderlands, where you can kind of pick and choose when you want to jump into it,
Right.
and then pick up side quests, as you go. And can you stack those side quests, or are they like I don't know, how does that all work?
Yeah, you can stack the side quests. So your first quest is you get down to the first planet, and then you kill the captain of the ship that you're supposed to go to. So you go to that ship. Come to find out, you can't take off. So that's like, okay, well, I got to go to this town and kind of investigate how to do stuff. So like you start running into people, and you talk to them, and then as you talk to them, they give you side quests, and as long as going along with the main quest, so you can kind of pick and choose how you want to complete these things. I originally did all the side quests in the town before I did the main mission, because I didn't know if those side missions would go away. But the way it played out, or I guess it doesn't matter how it plays out, but either way, like you can complete those missions at any point in time, it seems like. And once I got off the first planet, there was other planets available to me to go to outside of the main mission planet that I was supposed to go to. So I didn't go to any other planet. I just went to the one I was supposed to go to. But that one, when I went there, it seems like it significantly opened up into a larger area when I was on that planet.
That's cool.
As opposed to the first one. Obviously, it's a starting planet. You're just kind of getting your feet wet. It's not that big. There's a decent amount of places to travel. It looks pretty open. Actually, it is very open and allows you to kind of go in different directions any way you want to. And there's some cool little parts there that some kind of heavier beasts that will do a lot of damage to you. So it's interesting, man. Like, I've really enjoyed it. Now, for the bad stuff, for me, since I'm playing on PC, I don't know if this is the same for consoles, but there's a lot of stuttering. There's a lot of FPS droppage. I even turned all my graphics down to low, minus the lighting, and there still seems to be, like, I can't hold 60 FPS. I don't even know if I can hold 40 FPS.
Dude, that sucks.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't know if it's my computer or what's going on. And then textures are always popping in when you go to cutscenes. Or, like, when you talk to somebody, it goes to, like, a bus shot of them talking to you, and I'm just like, okay. So it's kind of distracting, but it's not game-breaking yet. It might get more. I mean, I put in 5 hours. That's a pretty good amount of time, and I haven't been, like, infuriated with it. But it just seems like, depending on the lighting and or the character and the textures that are on it, whether it be, like, their textures from their normal outfit to their armor, just plays a role in it, it seems like. It seems like armor that they wear has a harder time of loading up before just normal clothes. So I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's something they'll fix. But since I got on the Xbox Game Pass, I don't know how they push updates. If it's like instant as soon as they get it, because like Steam and I assume Epic Game Store, and then if you have it on consoles, you get it pretty quick. So I don't know how the Xbox Store works with that. So I'm hoping there's a patch soon, and I'll get it really quick, and it'll fix some of that stuff. But other than that, I highly recommend this game. I mean, if you love RPGs, you should definitely jump into this. Like, this is one that you shouldn't miss out. Even though it's a little lower budget and maybe a shorter campaign than we're used to. I mean, if you compare it to Fallout 76, you're going to get way better experience. And I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to mod this in the near future. So I'm excited.
That's pretty
well
cool.
worth the money.
Yeah. Well, yeah. $15, not bad.
Yeah. And this is another reason to get an Xbox, actually.
Yeah.
So.
Or just get a PC with Game Pass.
Yeah, that too. If you already have that, for sure.
Yeah. No, it is cool that, like, I'm really happy that this is the first sign of the fruits of the labor of Xbox acquiring these studios, because had they not acquired Obsidian, this probably wouldn't have ever happened. Granted, this game is published by Private Division, but now that Obsidian is owned by Xbox, they get the Xbox money to just be like, hey, we want you on Game Pass, but you're also on all the other things too. So that's really cool to be able to see that and give people the option to buy into that feature. So
right. So I'm curious. I think they mentioned it before, but I'm not sure if they're going to, for future games, just have them on everything. They are, aren't they? Just going to be across the board.
What do you mean?
Like, it's not going to be Xbox exclusive, right?
No,
Yeah. You can buy it on everything if you want to.
Yeah, they said it's going to be dependent on the type of game. There's some games that they think will be best fitted for their library of stuff, but a lot of times they're going to be opening them up to multiple platforms.
I gotcha.
It just kind of depends on what that game is. So, like, obviously Gears, it's an Xbox title. but like these studios are acquiring, they're gonna just kind of do it on a play-by-play basis, whatever makes sense for them on that platform. So,
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind if Outer Worlds 2 was exclusively to Xbox.
yeah,
I mean, I think that'd be better for them.
I think so. I think it'd be good. I mean, especially now that you can play it on PC too. Like the only market you're cutting out is PlayStation, which I mean sucks, but you know there's a lot of flexibility there, which I think is super nice.
We will say this: it was kind of it's not a big fuck you to Epic, but I feel like for me it is because it's supposed to be Epic exclusive on PC, yet you put it on the Game Pass, it went to PC.
Yeah,
I'm so happy about that.
oh yeah, no, it's super nice. I'm really glad.